How long does it take to get your first wholesale deal done when you're using Facebook ads for motivated sellers? That is a very common question that I get, and I'm going to answer it in this video. But it's the wrong question to ask. In fact, in this video, I'm going to lay out a bunch of little nuances that's going to dramatically affect your outcome when it comes to this particular channel. And again, this is for you if you're a brand new investor looking to get your first deal, or maybe you have done one deal here or there, but you don't have a consistent way of generating leads, and you're looking for that one way that you can then every single day generate leads without cold calling, without driving for dollars, without any of those antiquated tactics, and without having to hire an agency or paying expensive pay-per-lead prices. Now I'm going to go through a lot of stuff, but at the end of the video, I'm going to go ahead and break it all down into a very nice, simple framework that now you can fully understand, and now you can take that framework and apply it so that you can get the best result possible. So the problem with this question is that it's an incorrect question, because this question is predicated on time. And this is not a time question. It's really a leads question. How many leads is it going to get? How many leads is it going to take in order for you to get a deal done? So let's say, as an example, this is a timeline of 0 leads to 100 leads. So let's say that you were advertising and only getting on the month. Let's say month 1, you're only getting 20 leads because your budget is really, really low. And let's say that it would take 50 leads in order to get it for you to get a deal. That means that you're not going to get a deal in month 1, and it's potential that on month 2 you do another set of 20 leads, and then there could be that on month 3 finally you get the next 20 leads, and the 50 leads is right here. That's where you're going to get a deal done. Now, sometimes, and most of the time, it's a little bit of luck and circumstance. It could be that in this span of 60 leads, it could be that lead number 5 is an amazing deal. And so then now you get a lead at the very beginning of the timeline, not toward the end. What if you get a lead number 5, you get lead number 5, and that happens to be an amazing deal. However, you are not good at talking with sellers. You're not good at comping. You are not good at dispo, selling, finding the cash buyers. So if you're not good at any of these pieces here, and that lead number 5 comes in, then it's potential that you may not be able to take advantage of that lead number 5 that happens to be a really great deal because of the fact that your skill set is not such that enables you to take advantage of that lead. So then now, if we look at, let's say, if we look at the scenario where 50 leads is the average, then that's based on a large sample size, potentially over 200 leads. So then now that means that you have to advertise more. So now you're at month 4, another 20 leads, and month 5, another 20 leads. And then now what if your next lead is lead number 62, right? So now you're in month 4. So as you can see that there's a bit of variance here. Now, how do you affect the timeline? How could you take, because ideally would be that if you're doing this business, then you're in a position where you get to do deals closer and closer to the 0 timeline. One of the factors that affects that is, of course, budget. But the budget affects this in a couple different ways. It affects this in volume of leads, so you need enough volume of leads. And the budget also affects the quality of the lead. Because let's say that you are spending only $20 a day because you're in a low budget, which is fine. We have a lot of clients that are in a low budget. With a low budget, you are forced to go nationwide to be able to have enough leads. Especially if you are brand new in the business, then definitely you want to go nationwide because you need the volume, you need the practice, you need to be able to talk to as many sellers as you can. When you're going nationwide, that is going to skew the number toward the higher end of the spectrum. Simply because when you do a nationwide campaign, that nationwide campaign is going to have a lot of waste. not a tremendous, but more so than the other campaigns. By waste, meaning that you're going to have a lot of rural properties, right? So, but if you're only at $20 a day, you can't really target that type, because otherwise you're not going to get enough leads, especially if you're brand new in the business. Now, you could start off with a $20 a day campaign for the first 2 weeks, and then you transition over to the following next 2 weeks to a more targeted campaign, because now you're better on the phone, etc. So those are two distinguishing factors here. Now, as the budget increases, and your skill set increases. So let's say maybe you are at $35 a day, or $50 a day, or even $75 a day, which is about $22.50. There's about $1,500, and there's about $1,100, plus or minus. So as you go up on this budget, right, then you can start to narrow geography. So now you target the top 15 states. Maybe you target a grouping of counties. So your cost per lead, CPL, cost per lead, is going to increase. So whereas a nationwide campaign here, in a nationwide campaign, we would be at $15 a lead, maybe $20. Here, depending on your geography, you could be at $30 or $35 or $40. But the quality, right, is higher on these leads. Now, so as the quality gets higher, although the cost per lead increases, then that means that you're going to be closer to this range here, toward the beginning part of it. So that, in other words, you'll need less leads in order to get a deal done. Now, there's some other factors, and we talked about this here in the in the part that I erased. But let's say you start off nationwide. You start off nationwide because you're new in the business, trying to get your first deal, so you need to practice. While you're implementing that strategy, you simultaneously have to be able to get better at your scripts, at your phone calls with the property owners, at the analysis. Right? You need to be good at all these things so you can take advantage of, as best you can, of these leads. And we do deals all the time with these nationwide leads. But then as this improves, then that means that now you can favor toward a higher cost per lead. Eventually, now this is all talking about Facebook. Eventually, you could go into pay-per-click, which will require, or Google ads, right? In general, there's pay-per-click search, there's demand gen, etc. Google is always going to demand a higher budget, just because of the way the platform. There's a lot of waste in the beginning. You spend some money just trying to get the campaigns rolling, whereas Facebook, right off the bat, they work pretty much out the gate. There's also, at the same time, there's Dispo, right? Because you can get all this right. You can get the scripts, the phone, the analysis, all done correctly, and you're great at that. But if you cannot find a buyer, disposition, if you cannot find a buyer, then all that work is for nothing. But which, by the way, if you're interested, click the link in the description and check out our partner program. It's a program in which we actually help in helping you with disposition. We also help you with property analysis as well. And we will get these ads up and running for you so that everything is working the way it should. Now, so going back to your original question. The original question was, how long is it going to take to get a deal? Again, it's not how long, it's the number of leads. And it's never an answer here, right? If somebody says, hey, I guarantee you that you're going to get a deal every X number of leads, there's too many variables involved.
At the end of the day, the most important number is how much did you spend in order to get a deal. Like our average assignment fee is $15,000. Sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're smaller. But at the end of the day, if you can spend anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 in order to get a deal done, then those numbers make sense. Even if you spend $2,000. Now you might be thinking, Chico, that's a whole lot of money to spend. Well, a lot of it depends on you. How good are you? How much help you have? If you're on your own, you have nobody looking over your shoulder, analyzing your deals and giving you the guidance, and it's going to take you a long time. Now, in terms of the cost per lead, and we talked about geography, you're going to end up spending about the same money. It's just a matter of how many leads are you going to have to go through. If you really narrow it down and you really fine tune the area. And you might be spending $100, $125 per lead. And then in the end, you might get a deal out of every 10 leads, hypothetically. But now if you are doing nationwide, you're going to potentially spend $1,000 to $1,500, same amount of money, but yet now you're going to have to go through a heck of a lot more leads in order to get that deal. Now, neither one is good or bad. It just depends on your situation. If you're brand new in the business, then again, it could be good for you to handle a bunch of leads. Not for the long term, but at least in the very beginning. That way, if you fumble the ball, you're not fumbling it on $100, $125 leads. It's as if, like, my daughter wanted to learn how to drive and I gave her a Formula One race car in order for her to learn how to drive. That would be a bad idea. The same thing with you. If you're brand new handling $300 leads, that wouldn't be a good idea. So there you have it. That's exactly the framework. Now you have a better understanding. And I think it's a great channel. Facebook ads for motivated sellers, for brand new investors looking to get their first deal. In fact, right here, somewhere here is a video that will pop up that will give you and show you, illustrate exactly how we do Facebook ads to find motivated sellers. And that way, potentially, you could do the same.